The Tata Nexon may have in recent times been eclipsed by its electric counterpart, the Nexon EV, which has of course since gone on to become the country's best-selling electric vehicle. But let's not forget what a significant milestone this car was for Tata Motors when it was launched back in 2017. It was the first car from the brand to have attained a global NCAP rating of 5 stars, something that catapulted the brand into a totally different league and established it as a maker of contemporary, robust and safe automobiles. This right here is the third major update that we've seen. What remains to be seen, however, is just how significant are the changes both to the exterior and to the interiors of this car.
The new Nexon features a full interior and exterior overhaul with a slick, minimalistic yet muscular frame featuring segment-first sequential LED lights, bifunctional headlamps, spoiler-integrated rear windscreen wiper and aerodynamic 16-inch alloys. Everything about the exterior catches the eye, with Tata offering multiple auras instead of variants that can be customized to the consumer's needs. As impressive as the Nexon is on the outside with its tapering headlamps and sculpted exterior, it makes a generational leap on the inside. The features list is extensive and includes 6 airbags as standard, along with a host of optional extras, including voice-activated commands in 5 languages.
Now, I think we'll all agree that the previous Tata Nexon was a bit lacking when it came to interior refinement, and that's exactly the issue Tata Motors has decided to address head-on. So as you can see, everything about the cockpit has been completely overhauled, starting with this 10.25-inch touchscreen, which sort of dominates the dashboard. You get a completely new steering design. You get this 2-spoke design, which is kind of similar to designs from the 90s. So Sierra aficionados and people who are fond of Tata cars from the 90s will find something of a throwback here. Of course, none of those had a backlit logo, and Tata says it's the first one to have a backlit logo that's 2-dimensional on the steering wheel. What I'm told is that the overall design has actually been inspired by handheld gaming consoles, and that's another way in which Tata is trying to be really contemporary. But the really good part is that the display is really crisp. The use of materials has gone up. The plastic does not feel as flimsy anymore. You get this nice dual tone finish. Of course, this carbon fiber sort of look isn't the best in the business, and you do have some finishing issues that are just minor niggles. But on the whole, it does look really nice. What I really like is this soft touch transmission lever for the DCT, and honestly, it's really slick, it's really tactile to use, and it's not something you're used to finding in a car in this segment and at the price point at which this car is going to be launched. You get Type-C and Type-A USB connectivity, you get Android Auto and Apple CarPlay connectivity, you get a wireless charging dock. Mind you, this is the top-end Nexon variant, so all the bells and whistles are present here. You get this nice piano black finish. On the whole, I think it's really nice. You even get sat-nav display on the instrument cluster, which actually south of an Audi Q3 is not something you really find very often. In fact, even some of the bigger German car manufacturers have missed that trick, so that's really, really impressive. It also gets an inbuilt SIM, so you are able to make SOS phone calls, and in case your vehicle breaks down, you just press this button, and through the SIM you can call emergency services or roadside assistance, and that's another really nifty feature. They do seem to have missed a trick or two, especially when it comes to storage space. So there isn't a cup holder as such, and I find that to be a glaring omission. Even while I was just finishing my cup of coffee, I couldn't just drive off because there was no place to keep it. And while they have taken care of the broad strokes, and you know, it's much nicer, I mean, this leather wrap steering, everything just feels a bit more premium. I think in terms of storage, there isn't that much. The pockets here are also, the cavities are not very large. That aside, yes, you do get ventilated seats both for the passenger and the co-passenger, and that's pretty rare too. In addition to that, you also get voice activated commands, so you can actually just say the word and the voice activation will open the sunroof for you, control the volume, a host of other features, and it does so in 5 different languages. Another really impressive feature is this high resolution 360-degree camera, which honestly again is more of a staple in premium cars, and the sheer quality of it that you see here, the fact that it even has a 3D model, it just blows my mind, because you just don't see that sort of technology in this segment. And honestly, it's something that could help the Nexon possibly become a bestseller in this particular segment, because it has a petrol, it has a diesel, it has an EV on offer, so it has literally all the bases covered. And I mean, the fact that the 360-degree camera is so extensive that you can get singular camera angles for the 3D view just makes it that much better. And even when you click the turn indicators, the camera automatically shows you the blind spot, and whichever side you're turning into is what is then revealed. So on the whole, I think it's a very, very impressive leap by Tata Motors towards a very technologically advanced and sophisticated territory, which its competitors will find a little hard to match.
And although the powertrain options remain identical to the existing Nexon, there are a few surprises there as well.
Now, the most significant upgrade to the powertrain is the inclusion of a dual clutch 7-speed transmission, which gets a wet clutch system. And Tata Motors maintains that that is what differentiates this from other DCTs in the market. Is it Volkswagen level good? Not quite, but with that impossible benchmark set aside, it's fairly seamless, especially since they've also thrown in paddle shifters, which allow you to gain a little more control over how good the performance can be. This is a 3-cylinder motor, and as such, it sounds like one, but compared to the 6-speed AMT, this is actually fairly responsive on the upshifts, and it's fairly flexible too. You can be in a higher gear, and as soon as you slow down and put your foot on the throttle again, you're back in the meat of the power band. So in that aspect, it remains unchanged, and the improved DCT, of course, makes the driving experience just a little more responsive, just a little more refined, I should say.
But the DCT is not without its faults, and neither is the facelifted Nexon. Pedal to the floor and there is some transmission lag, and the alacrity that you expect with the wet clutch DCT isn't really there. This being a 3-cylinder motor, there is a fair bit of noise from the engine, which isn't as well insulated by the cabin as you'd want it to be. If it's a truly engaging drive you want, the manual diesel option is the one to go for. But with diesel only accounting for 20% of overall Nexon sales, it's the petrol that deserves more of your attention, even though the diesel's 260 Nm of torque make it the more pleasurable driving experience.
Now, the Tata Nexon may have been a spectacular sales success for Tata Motors ever since its launch in 2017, but it has since seen some serious competition, particularly from the likes of the Hyundai Venue and the Kia Sonet, both of which took the market by a storm by being feature-rich, by being aggressively styled and aggressively priced. What works for the Nexon, however, is that it's never shied away from being flamboyant. It's available, as you can see, in unconventional shade of purple, and this, mind you, is the top-end variant, so they're really not just reluctant to go all out in an effort to appeal to younger customers. In terms of the powertrain, however, things remain more or less the same. For the petrol, you get a 1.2-litre 3-cylinder turbocharged unit that makes a modest 118 bhp, and in addition to that, 170 Nm of power.
On the whole, however, this is still a very well-equipped car. Several issues such as the drab interiors ailing the pre-facelift version have been summarily thwarted, elevating the Nexon to the very top of the ranks of subcompact SUVs. And while looks are ultimately subjective, the new curve-inspired Nexon is now undisputedly one of the best-looking cars in its genre and easily the most technically advanced model out there.